Bendy the Dancing Demon. Oh, my name's Fox Nine. So they're 9-bit Fox, and welcome to another 9-bit theories, I guess. This time on Bendy and the Ink Machine. Since Chapter 4 just came out, I finished that yesterday, and I wanted to actually whatever. Basically, I wanted to have a theory that come out right now. Basically, the theory being that we are good Bendy, or in this case, the player is good Bendy. Cause there are a couple things, and I'll try to best as I can to say what I'm saying. But basically, if you follow the Bendy, basically what happens in Bendy and the Ink Machine, there are a couple things you should be able to point out or figure out. Things like, one, that it seems like everyone who worked at this studio, except for the main character who left beforehand, was turned into ink creatures. Were sucked into this ink machine or sucked into the ink, and then usually spat out as ink monsters. Whether it be, like, there's about 3 different classes. There's blots, which are just those messed up like little humanoid blot things. There's humanoid blots, which are not so much like goopiness, but have more of a physical humanoid form with glowing eyes and can actually speak. And then there are characters, which would then be those who come up as Boris, Bendy, Alice, or the Wrecking Crew. And we actually are then introduced to a 4th version at the end of Chapter 4, surprisingly enough, which is the partially taken over, or the partially changed. And these ones can range from a couple things, being from half animatronic, like Boris is at the end of Chapter 4, as well as half human, half ink with the Alice one. And basically, my idea is, because a lot of people, like, I was first of all Jacksepticeye's video after I'd done mine, and I was going through it all, and one guy says in me, like, he says, if there's a good Alice and a good Boris, maybe there's a good Bendy. Wondering if, this Bendy is good, or assuming this one is evil, I guess. Which, yeah, probably. But, and then another comment I actually saw was that some people have said that perhaps the Alice that played the original Alice, the one that got canned, I think it was Susie something. The original Alice got canned, and so, but then they replaced her with another voice actress, and some people assume that probably that the first voice actress, Susie, assuming that's the right one, is the one who becomes the evil Alice, while then the other Alice is the one that is half human, half ink right now, who's partially taken over and not fully taken over and became completely ink like the previous Alice has. And I was thinking, like, okay, that could be kind of a cool thing, and could also be could have a couple reasons on why we don't see a bunch of Alices or such running around, being in a sense like the Wrecking Crew. Let's assume the Wrecking Crew, like a lot of older cartoons, the Wrecking Crew probably didn't have that many, like probably wasn't voice acted all that much, since there's so many of them, as well as Boris. Boris probably was more of a silent character, so that would make some sense on why there are so many versions of Boris, as well as so many versions of the Wrecking Crew running around the shops and stuff. Yet we've only seen 2 Alices now, as well as Boris never actually talking. And then there also could be the reason for Bendy, being that Bendy, assuming, because there is kind of a mix between Disney cartoons as well as Betty Boo. I forgot what the other guy is. Basically, Betty Boo's like original boyfriend, which was a dog. But it's kind of a mix between the 2 cartoons, really. It's a mix of different cartoons. But basically saying that if, let's say we do follow this timeline, this line of that you kind of need a connection to the character to become them in some sense. Where the original voice actress, she even straight up basically says that she likes being called Alice and stuff like that. And then it wouldn't surprise me that, in the end, she becomes Alice. She becomes Alice when she finally makes her way out of the black ink. And then a thing that could back this up a little bit more, which then, again, Boris probably doesn't have a voice, because so far I haven't seen really much of anything that shows he has a voice, unless he's supposed to be one of the voices singing in the Gospel of Dismay, which might be the case, but then again, that might just be creative license that I saw like the cover for it of Caleb. I can't remember his full name. It was Caleb, that other guy who does voice covers, and then I don't know the girl's name. I can't remember their names. Jonathan Young was, I think, the guy who plays Boris in the cover, but I don't know if in the thing it was supposed to be that Boris was singing that part, but I don't know. But if, let's say, Boris didn't have a voice actor, that could be the reason why, one, he comes back as half animatronic and the new ones, as well as then possibly the new voice actress is the one who becomes the new Alice. Which then, if you kind of need a strong connection, let's say, to these characters to then become them, there could be a couple reasons that, one, that Joey Drew could most likely be evil Bendy. Being, if we're taking if we're taking our world's accounts to Bendy's world accounts, Mickey Mouse used to be voiced by Walt Disney. The original was like, "Oh, hi kids!" Or at least in Steamboat Willie, I think. But that was a terrible rendition. But if I remember correctly, Walt Disney used to be the voice of Mickey Mouse until a certain point, probably after his death. That might put a damper on it. But yeah, Walt Disney used to be... Actually, let me double check my facts while I'm doing this. But Walt Disney used to be the voice of Mickey, which then, that alone could be able to give a strong enough connection for Joey Drew to then become Bendy, assuming there is a similar fashion where he could have been the original voice for Bendy. But then there is our character, who I believe was an artist or an animator on the stuff, which he and I believe Joey Drew were the ones who originally created Bendy, which then would give our character a connection to being Bendy as well. And there's also a couple other things that I kind of placed towards this, being one that whenever you die in the game, at least now, you kind of appear in a tunnel of ink. Then you, of course, have to walk through the tunnel of ink towards the light, and eventually you reappear out of a glob of ink. Which right there could just be hinting straight away that you yourself are actually one of these ink creatures, if not Bendy himself. And then on the... let's see, Walt Disney. God dang it. Alright, fine, whatever. And then basically, again, being the artist, I could easily connect you to said character. Allowing you, because, again, that was a character that he probably developed. He created. And, there is kind of like a quote-unquote piece of him within Bendy, as such as Joey Drew is connected to it. And also, there are some things which, I guess maybe height-wise, it kind of messes it up a little bit. But, like, certain things look way bigger in the freaking game than they probably should, but that might just be perspective or just wonky, like, cartoony look to everything, which might be the whole, like, point of it, because, yeah, everything seems to be so wonky and stuff, but, let's see. Did Walt voice Mickey Mouse? Sorry, I just need to check this very quickly. That way, Walt Disney himself was the voice actor for both Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. It would remain a source of Mickey's voice till 1946 for a theatrical cartoon. So yeah, he was actually he also knew a guy named Jack McDonald. Wait, Jimmy McDonald would take over, which Donald Duck would be. It's kind of funny. But so Walt actually used to be the voice actor for Disney. So that for Mickey. So there is, again, you're taking our world and their world together, that might be somewhat of a connection. But, again, this is just a short theory I wanted to throw out there. There are some more things I could talk about. I'm probably going to make one that I basically kind of structure how these ink creatures kind of work and how this world kind of works. Like, but yeah, I like, and also even then, like, there are some different things, like the head of that one dude inside the roller coaster and stuff. Like, that is huge. Like, maybe our character's actually super small compared to everything else. And, like, this is all happening in a cartoon or something. I don't know. This is a quick theory I want to throw out there. Basically being that our character, there is some hints, whether be it that, like, when you die, you really don't die, and you get stuck inside, you walk out of a you walk out of an ink tunnel, and you walk out of the ink tunnel and appear out of ink, as well as, you know, there could be, you know, that connection, being that they straight up say that, they actually say that you have to basically walk out of it, as well as that if you reverse the sound on when he's in the ink tunnel, when you reverse the sound, you actually do hear a conversation going on from the main character. You hear this conversation from the main character, and again, you can check my video, my actual Let's Play of it, and last chapter, and I actually reverse the recording on some of it. But, like, it said, like, something like, it doesn't work, or this is how it works. Something along those lines. Basically, he seems to be talking to someone, and possibly about the ink machine. So, I don't know, just a quick theory. Basically, again, you coming out of the inkwell when you die, which is a strong indicator. Seeing that now that there are people who are half cartoon, or half ink, half non-ink, with Boris and the new Alice and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just a quick little theory. And again, I'm recording all this before Chapter 5. So if I am wrong, this is before the actual answers were given, so, you know, everyone can tell. So everyone can say, because I've got a lot of stuff about my Coco thing so many times beforehand, I have to tell them, this is before the movie fucking came out. And we only had, like, so much data on it, but whatever. In any case, thanks for watching. Don't forget anything else. Thanks for watching. That I've done. Links are on my Facebook page around there somewhere. Bendy will return. And we will see you later. I'm gonna guess it right now. Chapter 5 is gonna be Bendy Land.